Alrighty, hey everybody, this is Win, back at you again with another important video today. Hold up a minute, give me 1 second. Alright, back again with another video. So, today we're going to be working on my Speedroid deck. As you can see right there, obviously. This is my Speedroid deck. So we're just going to go through the basic variation of that. So, let's talk about that, shall we? Alright. So, we are going to be starting off with the monsters off first. We're going to start off with the main deck, of course, and we're not going to be doing any side decking personally because number one, it's not necessarily tournament based personally for this deck, obviously. So this deck is not going to be perfect, of course, but yes. So first up, we are going to be starting off very simple. We're going to be starting off with three copies of Marble Machine. Speedroids are typically designed to be a very fast deck, so they are incredibly fast, very outrageous, and the combos are hella very, very fun, of course, obviously. So we're going to start off with the main deck, of course, and we're going to be starting off with three copies of Marble Machine. I just got to find my last copy, but three copies of Marble Machine. When normal summoned, you can add one Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, of course, which is really nice. It starts off as very basic. It's a very basic monster. I'm just going to read off the effect. So when this card is normal summoned, if you can activate this effect, add one Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, and you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for wind monsters. So, very solid card. It's level 2. It's pretty basic. It's pretty much an automatic deck searcher. In this case, it comes as one of the most important deck searchers in the game, and it is fantastic. So I run three copies of these. Personally, I know a lot of people do run three copies of, it's three copies typically, but, that's just me personally. But, Alright, moving on to our next monster that is on the deck list. We have three copies of Speedroid Ultra Hound. This is from the Legendary Duelist set. It is one of the newer cards in the series, and I'll give this a nice good read. When this is normal summon, you can send one Speedroid monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send, pretty much really anything. You could set up your graveyard. There's a really nice combo with Speedroid Duplicate where if you can decrease the level off of this guy, special summon this trap card as a level 1 tuner. You can, make level 3, synchro summon, basically, you can literally combo off with this card specifically, which is nice. Great for setting up the graveyard, but, I run 3 in the deck, because, obviously, the power of being able to send cards from your deck to the graveyard is fantastic. I think it's absolutely important and vital that you must set up your graveyard, as for any synchro deck, to set up the graveyard. So, that is what my recommendation is for Speedroids typically. Alright, next up, this is just pretty much generic. One copy of Takatomborg. One copy is just good enough. I would set it at 2, but, Takatomborg is limited at 1, unfortunately, so I'm kind of stuck with 1, but, 1 is always really useful, personally, in my opinion, because easy search, you can pop off with searching. You can go crazy with, searching the deck. Obviously, you can go crazy with that. So it's something that I would typically recommend, I would say, but that's typically how it is, really. Moving onwards, we have one of the most important combo-based cards in the deck. We have 3 copies of Takatomborg. If you control a wind monster on your side of the field, you can special summon this card to the field. You can also tribute this guy to special summon any Speedroid tuner from the deck. Very nice. Combo based. You can only use this once per turn, of course. Great combo potential with this card alongside Speedroid Card Turbo. Very powerful. I use this typically to search, obviously for Takatomborg. I use this, obviously during for Speedroid Scratch. Great target. Great target, in my opinion. Moving on from that, we have Speedroid Cardboard Turbo, and I have 3 in the deck, like any other sane person would when they comes to playing Speedroids, because you know, having three, you can special summon this card onto the field, and you can. Oh, that's Deku Duke. I want my Car Turbo. Where are you, buddy? Car Turbo, Car Turbo, Car Turbo. Ah, there you are. Car Turbo. Special summon this card to the field. Again, you can banish this card. It comes as really nice, get level 3. Great target for Baron de Fleur. You can banish this card alongside another in the graveyard to increase all wind monsters by 800 attack points. Very solid card. Great for OTKs. Great for that. Just awesome in general, typically. Moving on from some of the other monsters, we're gonna go to the main monster archetypes, and that is going to be the next monster on the list. We have Denden Daiko Duke. Let me see if I run 3 in the deck, of course, because obviously I'm not sure if I run 3 or I run 2 in the deck. I'm pretty sure I run 3. I think I run 2 in the deck, personally. I would say I would run 2 in the deck, honestly, in my opinion. Let me see if I can just find it. Because personally, I don't know if I want to run 3 in the deck, honestly, because having 3 is just a bit redundant, I would say, in my personal opinion. Pretty much you can banish this card from the deck. Obviously, I would run 3. I'll run 2 or 3, personally. But, you know, having that banish potential is honestly really nice, in my opinion. But, you know, that's just me. Let me just double check if I have it or not. I'm not sure if I have it. But I run 2, but you can run 3. It's up to you. Great copy for Speedroid Scratch, also. Next up, actuality. This may seem a bit controversial, but let me see if I can find it. I run 2 copies of Hort Stilts in the deck. Might substitute for 1. Might substitute this for 1, possibly, if anything. Special summon this. You can summon this from your hat, add a card to your hand. Obviously, it's a searcher. Searchers are really nice. I mean, in my personal opinion, searchers are just really, really good in general, typically. But I run 2 in the deck because, you know, you can always run 2. I also run 2 copies of Double Yo-Yo as well. 2 copies of Double Yo-Yo. The reason why I run 2 instead of 1 is because I love the special summons. I love searching the deck. I love searching, obviously, just the cards in general, typically. I would recommend it, personally. I would not typically recommend you run 2 copies, but it's really up to you how you want to throw down with the cards that you own or have. I run 2, but 1 copy, Griffin Rider. It's generic. Control no monster, special summon this field. It's a wind monster, so really nice. In my personal opinion, obviously. But, you know, that's just what it is, really. I run 2 copies of Speedroid Red Eye Dice. I run 2 because nothing better than running 2 in the deck, because what if you use Speedroid Reel and you fuck yourself and you need another copy of Speedroid Red Eye Dice in the deck. So I run 2 in the deck, obviously, but, you know, that's just me. Next up, let's move on to some of the other more important cards. We have the final main monsters in the deck. We have 2 copies of Speedroid Rubber Band Blade. Of course, I run 2 in the deck. Obviously, you can run 1 or 2. I run 2, personally. Control a monster, special summon from the graveyard. You can special summon this guy into the field. It's really used, you know, if you want to run Kite Drake and you want to nuke the field. 1 copy of Speedroid Piper. This guy allows you, if you control many tuners on your side of the field, it can be normal summoned or special summoned. You can excavate cards, which is really nice, and you can add 1 card to your hand, which is really nice, in my opinion. Really nice. Really, really, really nice. And finally, I run a couple different hand traps in the deck. Of course, I run 1 copy of Ghost Bell, 1 Ash Blossom, and 1 Ghost Ogre for getting rid of special summons, restricting special summons from the extra deck, which I would typically do that, typically. But you can run 3 copies of Ash. I mean, this is just a generic, you know, casual deck, personally. Moving on to spells. Obviously, we're gonna move on to spells now, because we can't forget about spells. I run in the deck a couple different spells, typically in the main and extra deck. Let me see if I can. All right. I run 3 copies of Speedroid Wheel. Discard a card from your hand. You can roll a 6-sided die, for example. So we're going to use 6-sided die. So I have a D6 right here. And I rolled a 5. You can pull level 2, level 3, or 1 level 1 and level 4 to the field. Great for adding monsters to deck your hand to special summon monsters. I typically would use this to link summon monsters, typically. I never use this for synchro summoning. Never. The effects are negated. Why would you synchro summon when you have a link monster to go up to? Great for opening plays, also. I run 3 copies of Speedroid Scratch. A lot of people believe that this card is very underrated, which I do believe. Speedroid Scratch is really good. This is the one card that I had to order online. But you can discard a card, to add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. It's pretty much tuning, but better. Much better, in my opinion. I run 1 copy of Speed Lift. It's a generic spell. I mean, control the tuner. You can add that to your hand. I, of course, run 3 copies of Speedroid Recovery. Again, generic. You can special summon any Speedroid monster, target any Speedroid monster from the graveyard, special summon it. And finally, for the side deck, or possibly even that, I will probably get rid of these cards. Probably, I might add in probably another Den Daiko Duke probably to get rid of this. But this is just for me. 2 random spells for myself. These are action magics from. I think I got these from a friend. Double banking and action magic. You can double the damage, or you can attack twice with these 2 spell cards, which is really nice for Speedroids. But I would not use these personally. But Speedroid Duplicate is the trap card that I will use for this deck. For recycle, all the other traps, they're not that great. Duplicate is by far the best choice in my opinion because, number 1, you can decrease the level off of this guy to special summon it as a level 1 tuner. You can synchro summon, link summon, pretty much combo off of that, personally. But it's really nice, but, now, onto my extra deck. So this is my extra deck, of course, the orange sleeves. So we're going to start off from lowest to highest. We're going to start off with 2 copies of Rubber Band Shooter. You can banish a extra deck monster, or a synchro monster from the extra deck to reveal 2 Speedroids. I always go into this. There's no cap. I always go into this card. This card is just good. I put 2 in the deck because, why not? Moving on from the Lynx monsters, we have one copy or 2 copies of High Speed Cork Shooter. It's a level 3 if you synchro summon this guy up, for example. Pretty much you can add 1 Speedroid spell or trap from the deck of your hand, or you can special summon the materials used to synchro summon this, which I prefer the second effect, because the second effect, so much stronger. Much stronger. On to the next cards, we're going to go to the level 5s and level 6s. So we're going to go up from the bottom of the tier to the highest of the tiers. So we have 3. So, of course, we got 1 copy of High Speed Warrior Kendama. Great for banishing. Great for finishing up that banish pile. Also, some cards in this deck allow you to bring back the banished cards, which is really good. High Beast Attack. 2200 attack, very solid, I would presume. I would choose Stardust Charged Warrior instead for draw power. But, in my personal opinion, Kendama is also a decent pick if you don't have Charged Warrior, which Charged Warrior is it's I think over $100 now, I think. But, next up, we have High Speed Roid Chembata. Chembata is a solid monster. It is 2000 attack, 1000 defense, level 5. Pretty much this gains attack points, so I believe it gains 200 attack points every time it attacks, and it can battle twice. Great for OTKs. I've seen this card get over to, I think, 4,000 attack points if you set it up perfectly with Car Turbo, which, honestly, very good attacking monster. This is by far, if not one of the best cards to go for level 5s. If you're going to go for combos especially, this is a pretty decent solid pick, but is a better level 5 out there, and that is, of course, Haigoita. This is the king. This is the best card on the deck. One of the best combo potentials. Again, level 5, if you special summon a monster, you can special summon this from the graveyard once per turn, I believe. If you control a speed monster, Speedroid tuner monster, you can special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon any monsters except for wind monsters. So, again, very solid card. If you control a Speedroid tuner, you can special summon this guy to the field. On to the next one, we're going to move on to level 7s. And, of course, this is a bit controversial because my extra deck is filled to the brink with monsters. We have 2 copies of Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Of course, we can't forget about Clearwing. I also have the alternative art for this, but I just keep it as a keepsake. But Clearwing Synchro Dragon, baller card. It's good, it's level 7, pretty solid. 1 copy of Clearwing Fast Dragon. Very great for dealing with high attacking monsters, especially. If you synchro summon up to this guy, you can decrease the monster's attack points to 0. Very solid card, in my opinion. Very solid. For level 8s, typically, I would banish this guy using, I think, for my Link monster, I would just banish this, reveal, Terror Top, and, double Yo-Yo. If they get rid of Terror Top, normal summon using the effect of the Link monster, bring it back, use this effect to add Takatomborg to your hand, special summon Takatomborg, sacrifice Takatomborg for either Car Turbo, Red Eye Dice. I would say Red Eye Dice would be the better choice. Make Terror Top, not Terror Top. Make double Yo-Yo, level 2, synchro up to Court Blaster, then use the side effect, bring those 2 back, synchro up to Clearwing, boom, you get a level 10. Easily, my guy. Alright. For the level 8s, we're going to go from the back forward, so we're going to go with Kite Drake. This is the card I was talking about that you can use with Rubber Band Plane. Level 8, you can nuke the entire field, or you can negate all monster cards effects, except for this guy. 3,000 attack beat stick. It's pretty solid in my opinion, but there's another better card that does that better as a boss monster, and that is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. 2 copies of these, no doubt. 2. Always 2. Can't forget the 2. Always 2. Best card in the deck, by the way. Finally, for level 10s, we have 2 level 10s. We have 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. Of course, again, it's Omni Negate. Realistically, who would not want Baron de Fleur in their deck? Every professional player, ever since Legendary Duelists, has run this card. And now I do now, sadly, in my deck. 1 copy of, this is my Ghost Rare, Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Again, it's a very solid boss monster. You can pretty much negate anything. You can negate hand traps, you can negate impermanence, you can negate Ash Blossom, you can negate pretty much everything that this card anything that the card throws at you. It's pretty much an alternative side grade to Crystal Wing, which, in my opinion, is very underrated. I think it's very underrated in this deck. I think it's a rib pick, because either way, Speedroid players can easily pull both these guys out. Both Baron de Fleur and this guy out. Literally go from Court Blaster, you can synchro up to Baron de Fleur, you can synchro up to Crystal Clearwing, and you'll still get the same result either way. You get a very powerful monster on your side of the field. So, I don't understand why people hate the card. I personally love it. Personally, I believe it's very underrated and should be, deserved. Because, I need to run that Ghost Rare. And finally, of course, 1 copy of High Speedroid Clearwing Rider. I would love to run 2 in this deck, but I can only run 1 in the deck because, again, you can easily recycle this card back to the extra deck, and you can easily pop off with this card, man. Like every once per turn, I believe you can roll a 6-sided die, so one of these, 1, or you can You can get 5, for example. This is part of my D&D set, but you can destroy cards up to the amount of cards. It's pretty much a miniaturized satellite warrior. You destroy those cards, it gains attack points, and, well, obviously you contribute this guy to special summon 2 level 7 Clear Wing monsters from the extra deck. Which, unironically, is going to be Clear Wing and Clear Wing Fast Dragon. Honestly, in my opinion, those are going to be the 2 cards you're going to be targeting with this guy. So, it's very powerful. It's a bike. It's very powerful. This card is undoubtedly one of, if not an OTK killer. But it is by far one of the best things out of this deck. I personally had a lot of fun making this deck personally. After I got Legendary Duelist, I bought 2 boxes of this. And after I build the Speedroid deck, I had a lot of fun with the Speedroid deck. I had a lot of fun with this deck. It is by far, if not one of my favorite decks to play now. Ever since I quit playing Synchro, ever since I stopped playing Synchrons. Of course, I still play Synchrons personally. I don't like to run Synchrons as much as I used to anymore. Typically, because again, there's just too much support for me personally. I just, buying every new card for Synchros is just, it gets up there pretty much, and it gets very expensive. But after making the Speedroid deck, I've been having a lot of fun with the Speedroid deck. And if anyone out there plays Synchros or enjoys playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, Speedroids are generally one of the cheaper decks out there, except for Baron de Fleur. But typically, you can easily make a $30 to $40 deck and still pop off personally, instead of paying over $200 like some people do. But still, in my personal opinion, Speedroids are my new favorite out of the bunch. Being able to play Speedroids and being able to enjoy Speedroids, it's a lot of fun in my way. So anyways, this is Win. Of course, obviously, I'm still editing the Anime Minneapolis video. I'll have that probably up by next week, if anything. I've just been very busy with life, and of course, Spider-Man, and of course, even Killer Frequency is now out now, currently. I don't think I'll be able to, personally enjoy a couple of those games typically, but I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun personally. I had a lot of fun making this deck. Of course, obviously, I've been thinking about making a couple more videos at the moment currently. I don't know when, but I've been thinking about making a couple more videos. Anyways, this is Win, signing off.